Okay, so here we are with a another action figure unboxing, and this is technically the first that I've done from this series because this is NECA's Defenders of the Earth, and it's Ming the Merciless. Look at that nice piece of artwork there. Now, this isn't the first NECA Ming the Merciless that I've opened because I've opened two before this. So this is actually the third Ming, but it's the first from Defenders of the Earth that I've done. It's the first of any figures from Defenders of the Earth that I've done because I've never seen them at retail. Not even once. So, I found this guy at a little action figure shop on my way to work that, like, I'd never even seen before. Like, I went to Publix because, I needed to get something to eat on my way to work, and I happened to see this little action figure place that I'd never seen before. So I'm like, I'm gonna pop in there and have a look around and see if they got anything interesting. And they had all three of the Defenders of the Earth action figures that I've looked for years. Never seen them. Uh, well, not quite years. These came out in like 2021, but for a very long time, I've tried to find these figures, never could find them. Uh, I think I've mentioned in my other NECA King Features characters reviews that I'd really wanted them, was never able to find them. Uh, the uh, the vintage card Flash Gordon figures came out, and I'm like, well, I better buy these because I might never see any more NECA Flash Gordon figures because I've been trying to find those Defenders of the Universe figures for years, and who knows if I'll actually find the original superheroes. And then I was able to pre-order those on Big Bad Toy Store, so I was able to get the original superheroes. So, but I'd kind of given up hope on finding Defenders of the Earth. But I really wanted this Ming figure because he's just so cool looking. So, and I've got the other Ming figures over here to compare. That's what I was digging around for. So I might as well go and grab those right now. Uh, I got like a pile of action figures here because I'm trying to get things organized. But yeah, we'll go ahead and pull those out so we can compare all three of them. So, if you recall, if you've watched my other videos, this was the first NECA Ming that I got, and that was the one that came with the vintage card. So this is the one that was based on the old Mattel Ming figure from the 70s, and that's why his colors are kind of plain, and why his skin is the same color as his outfit, so it makes him look kind of like he's naked. I think Mattel probably should have cast that in green plastic, and then it might not have looked so naked. And it's supposed to be based on this design anyway, which is what he looked like on the Filmation cartoon. And you can see that he has a green outfit and, tan skin. So it probably would have made more sense to mold that in green, but whatever. And he's got a soft goods cape, which the other Ming doesn't have. And I feel like Ming should either have a cape or a robe, one or the other, because it helps to give him that more regal appearance. And I'm sure. Stop clawing at my leg. The cat's sitting in my lap. She's clawing at my leg. But you can see that he has a gun holster and a sword, which was other stuff that the vintage card version did not come with. So yeah, this one is definitely the better of those two. But I think that the best overall is going to wind up being this Defenders of the Earth version. And this was actually the first version that came out, like I said. I wasn't ever able to find him until I found him at this little action figure shop. And I'm gonna go ahead and open them up. But first, I'm gonna pause the video so I can clawing at me incessantly. Hang on a second. Okay, so we're back. I have a blanket over my lap like I'm Professor X or something. So the cat won't be clawing at my legs. It'll give me a little bit extra protection. So we'll cut the tape there. Let's go ahead and look at the back of this. We'll look at the whole package because it's a nice little package. So you got the Defenders of the Earth logo on there, and you can tell this is Flash Gordon's deal. This is his line. This, like, the logo is done in his aesthetic. The arch enemy of the line is his arch enemy. And, you've got other characters in here. Apparently, they've got, on Big Bad Toy Store, they had Lothar and Mandrake up for pre-order, but it looks like I didn't know about it, so I missed out on them. But hopefully I'll be able to find those at some point, because I do want to put the whole team together. I don't know if I'm going to bother with the Phantom, honestly, because, he's not too different from the original Superheroes version, which is better in a lot of ways. So I don't know if I want to buy a figure that's like just kind of like a worse version of the original Superheroes figure that I already have. The original Superheroes version has, more accessories, and it has holsters for his guns, and, he has the stripy shorts. So that's my Phantom. I will try to get this Flash Gordon figure next week if they still have them at this little store. If somebody else hasn't found them and bought them. But yeah, let's go ahead and open this up. Oh wait, there's a little bit of a bio here. I should read the bio. And there's credits. I should read the credits. Ming the Merciless has been battling the unconquerable Flash Gordon for years in their constant clash of good versus evil. Desperate to seize and dominate the Earth, Ming's greed for conquest has become his obsession. And it says, collect the whole world of heroes and villains. Product development, Randy Falk. Sculpting, packaging, and photography, Jordy Jokovic. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, sir. Fabrication, Anthony Miniching. Roger Fernandez. Paint, John Wardell. Jeffrey Trapp. Prototypes, TrueCast Studio. Character illustration, Jordy Jordovic again, and Kate Bersht. Am I saying that right? I hate mispronouncing names, so hopefully I didn't mispronounce those too badly. Alright, so let's go ahead and get Ming out of the package. And oh man, it's one of these delicious silica gel packets that I love to eat. Oh wait, it says not to do that. Oops. And you can tell that Neca put a lot of effort into this plain yellow background with nothing going on. All the package is so nice with this blue Starfield and the cool Ming artwork I was showing off earlier, and the classic Defenders of the Earth logo, and even the back's kind of set up to look like those old action figure packages to evoke that feel, and then the insert is just plain yellow. But man, that is a beautiful figure, and they certainly, did a great job. Look at all the paint apps and everything on that. It's like a ton of sculpting detail, a ton of paint detail. It's just a beautiful figure. We'll get a closer look at that in a second, but I probably need to get the accessories out first. So, NECA, as usual, has like a little plastic tray over the accessories, and if I just cut the tape, I should be able to flop that up, and we can get these accessories out. And we have this beautiful sword, very similar to the sword that came with the original Superheroes Ming. That one is a repaint of this one. To compare. But you can see it's in more matching the color scheme of this figure, so it's more emphasis on black, gold, and red, and this one's got a little more emphasis on green and gold. So yeah. And then we have this awesome staff with a dragon's head on it. This is a serpent staff. Look at that. That is some great sculpting there. And again, lots of little paint details to it. Very cool. Alright, so let's get the other other one open over here because we got other cool stuff. We're not done. I don't think this one went quite as all out on the accessories as the original Superheroes version did. And, like, they probably had to add more bells and whistles to it because, you know, they're asking you to buy a third Ming figure at this point. Because this one would have come up first. But for me, this was my third Ming figure, because like I said, I couldn't find this one anywhere. So there's Laser Blaster. It is a pretty similar metallic bluish, purplish color to the classic Flash Gordon ray guns that came with the original Superheroes figures. But of course, it's a more 80s looking design. My good friend Rue Reviews recently put up a video about the Defenders of the Earth Flash figure because he was lucky enough that he had one like a year ago, and he'd mentioned that was a more 80s looking blaster, but it was a more 80s looking version in general, I guess. So there's the long pew pew, so he can shoot things very far away. And I forgot on the other side, here's the short pew pew. And these are pretty similar to the original Superheroes versions, but these are blue instead of the later ones being yellow. And we have at least one extra hand from Ming. Fancy ring on it. So he's got to have his magic ring, being Ming the Merciless and all. And look at this beautiful cape. This satiny material. Purple and red. Colors that generally don't go together so well, but he's a villain, so he can wear clashing colors and get away with it. And man, he is packed in here in like a strange way. There's actually holes in the packaging back here to hold his hands in. So, and he does have my despised rubber tabs holding him in. So we're gonna have to cut those. And hopefully not accidentally scratch any of this beautiful paint job. Neca, you made such a lovely action figure, and you're making it like way too easy for me to accidentally ruin it. I hate the rubber tabs. They're even worse than the rubber bands. At least rubber bands, I can cut them from the back. These I have to cut from the front. Oh my god, how many of these are there? I think I just scratched the figure. I hope I didn't scratch the figure. But at least, yeah, there's like 3 rubber tabs around his waist. That is overkill. So when Rudy was doing his review, he was talking about how he likes to keep his figures in the box, like after he opens them up. But, man, he is just embedded in this thing. I might have to cut the tray off of him. It might not even be an option for me to do that. Oh, okay. And I don't want to mess up this cape, so I'm being really careful with it. The cape's got a wire in it. It's really cool. So yeah, NECA figures tend to be a little more expensive than your average action figure. And this one, I think, looking at the paint details and this awesome soft goods cape with a wire in it, and they certainly they certainly gave you your money's worth on this one. Look at all that detailing. Look at all the sculpting and the painting. So this one, I think this design took a bit of liberty from how Ming was designed on the actual show. He does not seem to have a problem with the legs. And, aha, I suspected this might be the case. So this is a reissued figure. I suspected it might be a reissued figure because I'd also seen like Flash and Phantom on Amazon for pretty close to retail, and I hadn't seen those in a while. I did not see this Ming close to retail when I looked. But the original release of these had a kind of a weird pin system to articulate the hips, and it looks like these have foregone that. So his legs are as posable as the original Superheroes version, and the Mattel-inspired figure. So he has, like, posability just as good as those. So I'm actually glad I wasn't able to find that, if that's the case. I'm glad I was able to find this second release where he'll have a little more posability to his legs. And that means Flash will probably have a little more posability to his legs when I get that figure. So that makes me happy. Man, look how cool that cape is. And the wires, and you can bend it up and pose it in certain ways. That is awesome. I love soft goods capes. Like it's ever since the '90s, it's been everybody wants to give them these plastic capes, but soft goods capes to me, that's like old school toys. So the head sculpt, nice and nasty. They do such a good job with Ming on these head sculpts. He looks great, and you can see that, like, the under part of the body, it's that superhero body that they used on the Phantom and they used on Flash Gordon, and there's some paint detailing on the chest to make it match Ming's suit from the show. But like I said, they took a lot of liberties in terms of this design versus the other figures. So the original Ming design of Defenders of the Earth had these kind of poofy pirate looking sleeves, like Seinfeld's puffy shirt. But you can see that he has just kind of like the standard superhero muscles because it's they reuse that same body. But that's fine with me. I don't mind. Like the painting of it, and of course the extra parts they put on it, kind of give it the illusion of being its own thing. You can't really it kind of puts layers on it, and it makes it more unique. So I don't mind that the stuff on his chest is just painted on. That's fine. This collar, again, this is the main uh, liberty that they took in the design. Because if you look at how he's drawn on the cartoon, it's just kind of like this simple Dracula type collar, where it's just kind of like a high collar. But with this one, instead, they made the collar more in the style of, if you're a fan of the 1980s, you can see it on the lunchbox up there that I put to take up the space. But you can see, like, it's the collar very much like what Max von Sydow wore on his Ming costume in that movie. And if you're familiar with the old movie serials with Charles Middleton as Ming, he wore a collar very similar to this. And of course, that came from the original comic strip. If you look at the very first comic strip that had Ming in it, he had a collar very similar to this. But he did not have a collar like this on Defenders of the Earth, so that's a liberty that NECA decided to take. They chose to give him this style collar, and I think that was a good design choice. I think it looks really cool. I think it looks great in the Defenders of the Earth colors, where it's purple on the back, and then the lining of it is red, and then the inside of the collar is red, and the red paint and the gold paint, and you can see, like, there's a little bit of paint wash in there to just really bring out that sculpting detail. The green skin with this great sort of modeling to it, and he just looks really sickly and nasty. And then of course we have the hands and little rings and things sculpted into it, and the this is an extra hand here. So he has an open hand, and he has another hand that he can grip with. So we can have him hold, two weapons at once. So that's cool. Or, if you want him to just be like using his magic ring, that's a good kind of spell casting hand. Let's see how he holds some of these accessories and see how well that works. And this hand feels really stiff to me, so I don't know. Let's see. I might be better off putting the other hand in just because his hand is so stiff. And he's got those long claws, so he's really going to grip whatever it is that I put in here. But yeah, hand's really stiff. I don't even know if I want to put anything in that hand. Let's see if I can get him to hold this staff. I might just put the left hand in because it seems like it's going to be a little more forgiving. Yeah, so he can hold his staff. I could probably heat it up with a hairdryer if I wanted to. so I'm not too worried about that. I'm gonna go ahead and put both gripping hands in. So he'll just be a lefty for now. But I'm pretty sure I can heat it up with a hairdryer and then have him hold his weapons. So the staff is really cool. I really like that. He doesn't grip it too tightly in this hand. I'm guessing he'd grip it really tightly in this hand if I wanted to take a chance on it right now, but I don't. And then let's see how he looks while he's holding the ray gun. This, like, it's still a tight grip, but I feel like I can flex it open just enough. Whereas, like maybe you can see at home watching anywhere. Like, look what a tight grip that is. You see why I'm a little nervous about trying to pry it open when it's cold like this. It's hot weather outside, but it's cold down in my basement. So but yeah, there he is with the ray gun, and we'll go ahead and try out the pew pews and see how that looks. So there's pew pew number 1 and pew pew number 2. I don't know if this is an exact like reuse of the sculpt, because they are 2 different guns. The sculpt is a reuse. I don't know if it's a reuse of the same mold, is what I'm trying to say. They might have done 2 different molds, or, you know, blocked off part of the mold so it would fit onto one better than the other one. That one looks a little droopy. I think I might have it on there at a bad angle. There, if I turn it up that way, it looks better. It's still kind of tilted up a little bit, but gravity kind of pulls it back down, and I think it looks better that way. And then my personal favorite of all 3 of these accessories, as cool as that staff is, I think about Ming's main weapon as being a sword. I definitely like him to be a swordsman. And there he is with the sword, and he looks badass. So yeah, it's the same sculpt as the sword from the, well, it would have been from this one, because they repainted it for the original Superheroes version, and the cat is nuzzling against my laptop again. But yeah, so that's really cool. So comparing the 3 of them, so here's the first one I got, and he's okay. You know, it would be nice if his skin was painted a different color than his outfit, and he didn't look naked. He's a little plain next to the other guys. He doesn't have a cape, but and he doesn't have a lot of accessories. But to be fair, most of the problems I'm pointing out with this guy is because he's based on that old Mattel figure, and Mattel cut a lot of corners. So, you know, if you're gonna do an homage to the Mattel Ming, yeah, you're gonna wind up cutting a lot of corners because you're doing what they did, right? This guy is awesome. I love this guy. He's great. He came with a lot of accessories. He's everything that I liked about the Mattel inspired version, but better. You know, he looks more like what he looked like on the Filmation cartoon. He's got more accessories. He's got, like, I don't have the sword sheath on him right now, but he has a sword sheath. He has a pistol holster, so he can hold his weapons on him. That's great. I love this guy. This guy blows them both out of the water. This guy's the absolute best. So, the only real advantage I can think of that the original Superheroes Ming has over this one is he has holsters for his accessories. He has a sheath for his sword, and he has a holster for his pistol, so I can keep all his accessories on him at once. Whereas this Ming does not, unfortunately, have that capability. But, like, and again, this kind of comes down to just what it's based off of, is that this version of Ming was from the Filmation cartoon, and they had a much more plain design. It's a great design, but it's not one that's got as much going on as this one. And to me, I think Ming works best when he's got some kind of ridiculously ornate costume, and all the detailing of the sculpting and the paint and everything like that make this one pretty definitive in my eyes. And if you asked me to design a perfect Ming figure, I would probably design something like this. Now, that having been said, NECA has at least one more Ming figure. It might even be out yet, but I haven't seen it yet. that I don't have yet, and that is the one that is the movie style Ming. I say movie style because it's inspired by the movie, but it's not exactly the movie costume. It uses a lot of parts from this one, and the this ugly Ming head that I love. Uh, I need to find a home for that. But yeah, since you know they reused a lot of the parts of this Ming, it's just kind of like this Ming in red with that head on it. So and it's got a robe. And that one might even top this one for me if I can get my hands on it. So it'll be interesting to have that one in hand and see how it compares to this one once once I get it. But for now, I think this is clearly the best Neca Ming. Now, honestly, this one could give it a run for its money, but it's the cape that really makes me say, "Oh yeah, this one is the best by far." Because it's nice that this one has a soft goods cape, and I like it having a soft goods cape. But it's pretty much just like a little piece of spandex that they glued to the figure, and this is like this satiny thing with two layers to it, and a wire, and it's just this is just so cool. Like I'm just so blown away and impressed by how classy and elegant this figure is, and it's a great interpretation of one of my personal favorite villains from pop culture. You know, probably one of the greatest villains from science fiction. Like, he's the guy who inspired, you know, that there's a reason that the main villain in Star Wars is called the Emperor. you know, Flash Gordon was a big inspiration behind Star Wars, and that's why you got an Emperor in Star Wars. So yeah, very cool. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this figure and what you think about the character of Ming the Merciless in general. And we will talk to you next.